Well, hello, everybody. It's Clarissa here. We are back again live today. This is my second live. I am in the Limelight today with Rumschlag and Rita Smith from domesticshelters.org. Friends of the show. They've been on many, many times as we get information out and let everybody know about domesticshelters.org, what they do, what they stand for, and how they can help victims of abuse. And that's what we do. That's why we're here. So welcome to the show, ladies. I know that today we're talking about things that we've touched upon in the past because it is a component of abuse. But today we're going to take a deeper dive on that. And then that is financial abuse. So that I was very intrigued by when I saw that that's what you wanted to talk about today, because I wanted to know from both of you, and chime in whenever you feel it's best, but what are some examples and signs of exactly what financial abuse is?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start on this one. Just a few kind of the obvious ones.
Right.
One would be forbidding you from working, sabotaging future employment opportunities, things of that nature.
Right.
Controlling how your money is spent, denying you access to your bank accounts, giving you an allowance, and with that allowance, forcing you to account for every single penny of everything that you spend.
Right.
Those are kind of some of the baseline
Do you see that
ones.
happening even when the woman is working, or is that normally only when the woman is staying at home taking care of children and the man is working? Are there any statistics around that?
No, I think it happens no matter what. If the goal is to control her access to finances, then it doesn't matter who's earning the money. They make sure that they have control over it. So whether they're earning more or not, or the victim is earning anything at all,
Right.
the point is to control them by making them account for every single dime that they might be given.
Right. So the control being, I'll tell you when you can buy something, I'll tell you what you can and cannot buy, I will, that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
In other words, keeping her in a position of having to ask. We say her, and let's specify that domestic abuse, violence.
Both are appropriate. Domestic violence, domestic abuse.
I lost the word. I was lost for a word there for a moment. The abused are not always men. Women, they sometimes are men. So we want to make that very clear. I don't know where all that just came from, girls, but okay. Man, it's been a long day. So do victims of financial abuse have legal rights or any assistance from the government in the way of support?
Well, there are different ways that that someone can access those resources, whether it's, so for instance, you get a restraining order against your abuser and there might have been some damage to property or things like that. You can put it into the restraining order as one of the factors that they have to help you recover those costs. If you've been injured as a result of an assault of some sort, there are crime victim boards in most counties in this country, and so you might be able to get reimbursement for medical cost or mental health sessions, or repairing the lock on your door, for instance. So crime victims compensation boards can be an option.
Yeah. So again, these are the things, everybody, that you can find over at domesticshelters.org. So all of this information is there. They are there 24/7. You can find information. You can get help. There is a hotline there. There are 20. Are we still at 2,800 shelters between the United States and some in Canada, Ashley?
Yeah.
Is that where we are? So that's a really impressive number, given the fact that domesticshelters.org is now, 5 years old?
Yeah, and those connections are simply just, we provide resources and phone numbers to reach out to local shelters.
Right.
We don't work directly with them other than, for the wish list programs and things of that nature. But we've reached out and connected with around 2,800 shelters who, update their information and are, make their information available for people who are looking for help in a specific geographical location. Right.
In most of the chats that we've had over the last, I don't know, maybe it's 8 months now at this point that we've been collaborating together, maybe a little more. We've often spoken about the plan or a blueprint of sorts in order to be able to plan ahead before making the move of really getting up and getting out and never looking back, as I like to say. But how can that plan be implemented by someone if the abuser is controlling everything, every dime that's coming in and out? How can they start to put something away? What's the plan there?
Yeah, I'll start with this. I think some of the important things are, well, one, they have to have some kind of income coming in order to save something to begin with. So some of the ideas on that are, selling things that you can kind of get away with selling without the abuser knowing. Collect on old debts. Maybe someone owes you $10, collect on that. Things like that. And then as far as holding on to the money, first thing I'll say is just find a private place somewhere, either with a friend or somewhere at your home that, the abuser will not find.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of thinking maybe even like a garage sale or something, or potentially taking in other children as a babysitter, or certainly online. There are so many different opportunities to make, good money by either a craft that or some other sort of information or talent that you may have. There are unlimited possibilities now to be able to make some money that nobody really needs to know about. So again, I'm sure that at domesticshelters.org you can go over there and get some information there. Get on the phone with somebody that can help you even sort of navigate that issue as well. So can women get help and go back to school so that they can increase their income? How does that work? If he's controlling everything, he's going back to school. Is it an online thing, I guess, and he doesn't have to know about that during the day?
Well, there are a number of different options. The online option is one, but there's a specific scholarship program for victims of domestic violence called the Women's Independent Scholarship Program, created a number of years ago, based in North Carolina. And the thing I like about it is that it's not just college. Any accredited educational facility, like if you want to get technical training, for instance, or you want to just go to a community college, and it can be used for additional things like books or to repair your car. At least that was the case the last time I checked with them. That it didn't have to be just educational, but it's anything that could impact your ability to stay in school. So that's a really good resource, I think, for people to look at, because even if you have an income, if you're leaving, you may need to make more, and having more education, better skills will make you more able to earn more money. So that's the information that I think people should access as soon as they can to start building their plan, as you say.
And with the computer and the internet, really, all you have to try to do is sort of Google free courses online. And should you not have a computer or internet, your closest library, once we can access them again, would definitely have a computer or and the internet for you to be able. I mean, there's always a way, I think, is the point here. I mean, if you really want to you're really ready, you really want to move on, there's always a way. I mean, there's nothing that can stop you in today's day and age. And certainly, again, domesticshelters.org does such incredible work to help women and children and some men move on and get away from an abuser. And I think that's what we love to do, is to get that message out for sure. So what should survivors think about when to keep their finances in order when preparing to leave? What are the things they need to think about around that?
A couple things I'll start with. Just make sure you gather all the appropriate documents you need, social security cards, PIN numbers, passwords. Having all that information together is really important if you need to leave in a hurry, or even if you have a scheduled exit plan that you're sticking to. Another thing is setting up your own accounts. So make sure that an abuser can't access the accounts after you leave. I've heard many stories of abusers going in and just draining the accounts, and that that's it. Then they have to come back, or they're left in a kind of a tight situation. Another thing, just accumulate those cash reserves we kind of talked about, if you can find a safe place to keep them. Also, changing beneficiaries on accounts. So make sure that, if you have a life insurance policy, that doesn't go to your abuser, so, things of that nature. And then just making a budget. So make sure that you can plan where every single dollar goes. So that way, you feel in control of your money, because that's a big thing, taking that control back and getting control back in your life.
Yeah.
Clarissa, I think adding a piece to that is that if you have a joint bank account with your abuser, it might be a really good point to look for a different financial institution, even a credit union in your area, to create your own identity and to start to build your own financial records. And if you can't take the copies of the things that Ashley was mentioning, because that might trigger them finding out. Almost everybody has mobile phones now that have cameras, and so taking pictures of those things and emailing them to yourself, so that you have a copy of it in some form, so that you can start to rebuild those financial records if you need to do so. So there's lots of interesting strategies. The first goal is, can you do it safely, and if you can, then start to build that plan. If not, get out and work with an advocate and build it after you've left. But safety has to be.
Yeah. What about credit, building credit, and maybe you don't have such great credit after this marriage? What would be a first step there, ladies?
Well, I think there are some really good programs now. There are some apps that I think can help people build credit, but there's also the prepaid credit cards kinds of things, what you can get with companies to start to use it to build some kind of a payment record. And then the better that it gets, the more likely you are to then get free real credit at that point. But start where you can, and work with financial managers, either online or through these apps, that can help you do the things you can do and take one step at a time.
Yeah. Any particular app that you would like to name or mention that comes to mind?
I don't, because I haven't researched so much. I see commercials for them a lot, and so it's it's always hard to know, because it's really particularly important for apps to not be hackable and for you to have a way to stay safe. So I haven't done the research on that, so I don't want to really mention.
So back to control and manipulation. A lot of times they'll say, if you leave me, I won't give you a dime. Yeah, I won't give you money for this. You'll get no alimony from me. You'll get no, I'll give you no money for the children. What to do? I mean, what to do? That's a scary position to be put in.
Yeah.
Right.
Are there legal recourse? Lawyers are expensive. What is the system? What does the system look like moving forward from that point?
Yeah. Well, I think it's a matter of first, making that decision to leave and to not necessarily be okay with the abuser taking away, your financial means. But once you make that decision, I think you kind of have to. It's a case
plan
by
in
case
advance.
basis. Yeah.
The plan in advance. I think that's really the crucial point here, is making sure. Yes, we've been talking about since over the last 15 minutes or so, is to really get your plan in order, and get yourself ulterior sources of income. And as we said before, it may seem really daunting in the beginning, but it's probably not as hard as we think. And we've talked about, the difficulty now of, kind of a lot of people being home now with COVID. It's kind of it's difficult to be on such a stealth mission when you're in the same house, with the abuser. So any ideas there? Is it just kind of do this stuff after he's gone to sleep, or what are you hearing out there? How are women sort of navigating that?
Well, I think that people need to be really creative. And the thing I know about survivors is that they are incredibly creative human beings. I have great faith in them that they can figure this out. But one idea might be if you're the one who goes grocery shopping, that you take 10 minutes out of that time, you're out of the house, to implement one part of that plan. Do whatever research you need to do, and then start to build it brick by brick, because it is complex, it is hard, and the goal that person has is to make sure you fail. And so you're going to have to be as committed to your success as they are to your failure. Yeah.
Which again is why I think that, with the support of domesticshelters.org and the advocates and the shelters themselves, having somebody to talk to that's been there before, that already knows to do the drill, for you it's new. For domesticshelters.org and the people that are collaborating with Domestic Shelter, it's not new to them. They've been here before. They've heard it all before. They're at the ready, and that's what I highly suggest, is that you do get to domesticshelters.org, get over there, And I'm telling you, the articles that are on there, the information, the resources, and the I like to always bring up the Amazon piece. Ashley, you want to tell us about how anybody that's listening may want to help women and children and some men that are in the position of needing some assistance?
Absolutely. So our wish list program, which I actually mentioned a little bit earlier, essentially what that is that it allows anyone from anywhere in the world to go to domesticshelters.org/wish-lists and search by a zip code in the United States and find a shelter that has a wish list and purchase items. And within a couple clicks, those are on their way, being shipped directly to the shelter. So we think about the people, that suffered financial abuse, have nothing, they go to a shelter, they need everything, and these shelters aren't, necessarily well funded all the time. So the ability to send, the smallest thing, whether that's laundry detergent, underwear, things of that nature, those are just so impactful. Absolutely. And especially with COVID, tight budgets are so tight, just being able to pay the staff so that, you're diverting essentially cash that they have on hand to paying the staff versus purchasing those items. So it makes a huge difference.
It really does. It really does. Ladies, any closing words for the people that are listening and the people that are going to hear this interview, or the people that are currently being financially abused and controlled and manipulated?
There's just one little fact. One little fact that kind of slipped by, but we didn't really mention how common financial abuse is. 99% of cases of domestic violence involve some form of financial abuse. So it's just important to kind of reiterate that these aren't kind of one-off cases. Everything that we've described is likely something that a survivor can identify with. So it's really important just to reiterate that it's so common.
Right. It's kind of the first go-to for control and manipulation. It's the first go-to. If it's not money, it's the kids, or it's the kids, and it's they kind of maybe even hand in hand. But Rita, what were you going to say?
Well, I think that it's really effective, which is why it's implemented so much. So I just want to reiterate for people, take the steps you can take. Don't let it's daunting to think about trying to create this whole process yourself. One piece at a time, build it until you've got all the pieces in place for you to feel safe to go. But start the process. That's all you need to do.
Start the process. Yeah, absolutely. Ladies, I can't thank you enough for being back on. Always here whenever you're ready. The message is always well received. And we've got Leora Leon, who's on watching, and she's saying, what is she saying there? Moving and important topic. Thank you, Leora. I really appreciate you. Lovely lady. I interviewed her earlier this week, and just really, really a spectacular interview. I want to thank you again. We have any other parting words? I know, again, we're going to say domesticshelters.org. Ashley?
No, that's all. Thank you so much for having us on. We really appreciate it.
Very, very welcome. Rita, it's always good to see you too.
Thank you. Thank you, Clarissa.
Okay, ladies, we'll talk again very, very soon. All right. Now. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Bye, everybody.